Hello and welcome to today's video where I'll be taking 7 different pride flags and turning them into cute little animals. So I did a similar thing last year where I took the pride flags and made portraits, so I thought I would bring it back and do something similar for Pride Month. Without further ado, let's get right into it. So the first flag I decided to make was the Lesbian Flag, and it has a lot of pretty colors. So first I wanted to make a butterfly, but later I changed it into a fox, because we have an orange color that can be the color of the fox, and I'm only limiting myself to the colors of the flag for this piece, so I tried to avoid any other colors except maybe for a little bit of black if needed. So here I'm just drawing in the colors, deciding what will be where, and I decided to go with kind of a cottagecore aesthetic with this strawberry dress that is kind of inspired by that strawberry dress that was really popular a while back. I gave her some accessories like this basket and a bouquet of flowers that I thought would fit well within the cottagecore aesthetic, but I did feel like it was a little bit too much, so I ended up not drawing in the basket, but I do keep the flowers because I think they are really cute, and I also wanted a little bit more of that red and that dark purple color because I didn't use it as much as the orange and the lighter pinkish purple. Here I started shading the face, which I think makes all the difference. I think it really brings the piece to life, and I also get to add more of that purple and some pink on her cheeks, which I think is really nice. I'm using the brush Spectra in the painting section in Procreate, which I really like because it adds a lot of texture, which makes it more of a children's book illustration in a way, and recently I've been really into texture and trying to get texture in my pieces, so this is just the perfect brush for that. Here I'm adding in the flowers. I just put them right on there without any line art or anything, and I do very minimal shading because I don't feel like it fits the style all that much. There's just a little bit of shadows, and then the piece is pretty much done. Here is the final result of the Lesbian Flag. I think this is one of my favorites. I think she's so cute. The next one is the Asexual Flag, and we have a gray in there, so the only animal I could think of that is gray and could fit this would be a raccoon. So I made a raccoon. It also has some blacks in there, which also is in the flag, so I thought it fit very well, and some white, so it's really the perfect animal for the Asexual Flag. To add some purple in there, I obviously had to add something because there are no purples in raccoons, so I decided to make the eyes purple and also give him a little scarf. Then I start on the shading, so there's just a lot of blacks for the shading because he's a raccoon and is gray. I also defined his little hair on the top of his head a little bit better, which I also think is a cute little touch. For some reason, a reason that I don't remember, I actually didn't like the scarf anymore. I think I wanted more white or even more of the colors, or just to make the design a little bit more complicated. So I changed it over to a sweater and decided to make it one of these like Christmassy sweaters that has a lot of patterns so that I could add even more details into it. So here I start on some very simple but cute patterns with the Ace flag on it. And that is the final details. And here is the final result. I also really like this one, and he's also one of my favorites. There are a lot of favorites in this series. Then the next flag I decided to go for was the Nonbinary Flag, and I actually had a bit of a hard time figuring out what animal I could do, but in the end I decided on a leopard gecko because they are kind of yellow, and we have a yellow color in there, so it fit. Because leopard geckos have these spots on their faces, which is kind of more gray, I decided to just make them black, and then I needed some accessories to get in that purple color and maybe that white color. So I gave him a sweater and a cup and some pants so that we will get kind of equal amount of each color. I actually think that turned out pretty well, and I'm actually a fan of this color combo. And that's also what I like about these sort of challenges, is that I get to try out different colors that I normally would never put together, like purple, yellow, and black. Here I add in the white details. I put a little bit underneath the tail and also the face because I realized that they have kind of a smooth color variation from yellow to white on their stomachs. So I did that, gave some stripes, put a purple heart on that cup, and then it was time to shade the face, which is always my favorite part. I gave them sort of this orangey shade color because I feel like it fit the most. Even though orange is not a part of the color combo, I thought it would fit if it was just a little bit, you know? And then I color in their eyes, and that is the final result. This is also one of my favorite. They're just so cute. Next up is the Bisexual Flag, and this one I struggled with a lot. First I thought maybe a bird because of the colors, and I actually had many other ideas that I did not draw out. But in the end I decided to go with an animal that is kind of gray, because we have a purple color that is kind of muted. So I decided to go with an elephant because they're gray and they're adorable and they're very different from all the animals I've done in the series. So I went with that. Then I made 3 different color combos. This one I was the most unsure about, but in the end, of course, I went with a purple for the face, which was the main reason why I picked an elephant. The main reason why I did all the other tests was because when I look at the flag, the purple is just teeny tiny compared to the other colors. So I felt like it would be a bit too much purple, but in the end, purple just makes the most sense for an elephant. So when shading, I decided to add some more of that magenta or that pink color in there through the blush, and I actually didn't have any way to bring in more of that blue color because it was a little bit too strong, so it didn't fit for the shadows. So sadly, the blue is not as present as I would have liked it to be. Here I'm just adding in the flag and then shading the shoes, and that is it for this drawing. Here's the final result. I also think this one is really cute. The next flag was the Romantic Flag, and this one was a no-brainer for me. There are not that many green animals, and there's not a more iconic green animal than the frog. A frog just also is a very gay animal in a way, so it couldn't fit better into the series and it had to be in here somewhere, right? I decided to make this a frog gentleman, which is something that I have drawn before, because I do love myself some frogs in suits. We also have some grays and blacks in there that also fits very well with that, right? This is just the perfect animal and the perfect attire for this flag. Just like all the other characters in this series, he gets a very simple, quick line art, and then I move on to the shading. It was really fun shading this character because there's already dark green in the color palette, right? So I didn't feel bad about adding it in there. I also added just a slightly more yellowish tone around the nose because I needed some form of blush, in my opinion. I can't live without my blush. And that's pretty much it. Here is the final result of this little frog gentleman. I also like how this one turned out. I like most of the drawings in the series. Next up is the pan flag. This one also, I thought maybe a bird. I thought birds for a lot of these because birds you can put in a lot of colors. But I decided to go a different route and go with a dog because there's a yellow in there and we might as well make a very yellow dog. So it's kind of either a yellow lab or a golden retriever. And we also had to add the other colors in there, of course, and I had already done sweaters and such. So I decided to go with some shoes, and since I didn't use the bandana on the raccoon, I went with that, and also a little cupcake, because why not? So first I put down the base colors before moving on to the line art, and to be honest, I think the line art is way too black. I should have thought about that beforehand and maybe made it a bit more yellow or a bit more pink, because it's a little bit distracting since the whole nose is black. Maybe it should have been pink, maybe I should have used a softer color, it doesn't really fit. And then I add some blush. Here I also went a little bit outside the color palette with a tiny bit of orange, because you can't make yellow blush, it doesn't work. I could have gone with pink though, which I didn't think of until now. And here I'm just adding in the final details, and here's the final result. So now I just realized there's a lot of things I could have done better that I didn't realize until making this video, but you know. And then there's the last character, or the last flag I'm gonna be making in this video, and that is the trans flag. So this one I was really excited about because I love the colors, I think they're so cute. But there are not really many animals that are blue and pink, so I decided to go with the white color in there, and bunnies was the first thing that I thought about. So I decided to make these kind of twins, or you know, friends, who knows, they look very similar, so maybe twins. And it's a boy and a girl, and they're wearing like opposite colors. This is maybe not the most creative idea, but I think they're kind of cute. But I do think I could have done a bit better. I could have added some more details into it maybe, or shaded their faces better. I don't know, there's just something that I feel like is missing in this drawing and I can't really pinpoint what it is. I gave them some grey line art so it wouldn't be as harsh, and I think that was the right choice for this one, or I could have gone with a darker blue. And then I add some pretty simple shading afterward. So their faces get a darker grey, and also some pink around the eyes for a little blush, and also around the nose. And then the clothes, of course, just get the darker and the lighter version of the colors. They also get some tiny little eyebrows, which I think was a good idea. And that is the final result. And this was the final drawing of the series. And then here is all of the characters together in harmony. I think they're really cute and I'm really happy with them. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you liked it, and if you want to check out my old video that I did last year where I did human portraits, you can check it out here.